What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Release Valve. We are your hosts, Sean Hanlon and Kyle Spain. And Kyle, man, I got to say thank you because you sent me a video that, talk about thought-provoked. The podcast episode of Mel Robbins and Jay Shetty. Wow.
Bro,
wow, talking about getting inside of your head and your heart, right?
As soon as I started listening to the Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins, right?
Mel Robbins, yep. Shout out to Mel Robbins and Jay Shetty, even though they'll never see this episode, but we still got to put it out there.
Hey, never say never. Never.
As soon as I was saying it, I was like, I shouldn't even be saying that.
Man, watching that episode. So what happened yesterday watching this episode is something that's happened more than once. It's happened a few times, right? Of just having being thought provoked and being influenced into developing new ideas and new breakthroughs. And those breakthroughs are, I would say, original thoughts because they were formulated in your mind. They were formulated in my mind. And you, through these thought-provoking ideas, quotes, and other people's thoughts and comments, I developed a feeling of just like how I'm viewing the world, my perspective of how things are with whatever it is, right, at that moment. And I'll go on and start watching a podcast, and somebody will say the same exact thing that I was feeling, that I was thinking,
right,
and or basically what I was believing in. Like this is how things are. People need perspective. Like you need accountability, and things, tips for success. And at that moment, I'm like, yo, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like we are on this path. And we are no different from the Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins. Like they're developing and experiencing the same thoughts and feelings that we are. And they're just on a different end of it. And so I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. I have the capability, not that I didn't feel like I didn't have the capability before, but I have that ability. I've always known that I've had an ability, but just not in some of the avenues that you should feel like you should have that. I mean, you should have the feeling that you're able and capable of being able to do anything that you want. Cliche, but that's ultimately the truth. Transformers, we could talk about that on another time. But they were sharing the same thoughts I was, and I'm like, this is why we have to do this. It's because what we're doing is so impactful that it's going to change people's lives. And not only that, he talks about your passion and purpose, right? And your purpose being passion driven, or the passion. What did he say? Hold on, let me get my thoughts. He said, your purpose is your passion in the service of others. And it completely just shifted my mind to just like, to all of the things that I've been trying to do these past X amount of years, and kind of strain away from what I know that I should be doing, ultimately, full-heartedly, full-focused. And watching that episode yesterday, bro, it just changed my complete direction of life.
100%, man. Talking about, I love how you said that, it was always in there, but, sometimes it just takes hearing somebody else talking about it, because we have our own internal dialogue, right? We go over these type of things inside our own head, and that can a lot of times really only go so far. Sometimes it only stays inside your head, right? But if you can hear somebody else talking about the same thing, like you said, and it resonates with you, it really kind of solidifies that what you were thinking or feeling or whatever is right. And you're not the only one. Again, we talk about these type of things all the time. And listening to that episode, it truly felt like they were pulling my thoughts and my feelings out of my head and my heart and discussing those things. And it was just like, man, like they could not miss every single syllable that came out of both of their mouths, not just Jay Shetty. Like I was saying before, Mel Robbins' take on it and her responses. And like he would say something and then she would be like, man, that makes me feel like an asshole, or you know, something like that. And I'm like, yeah. Like he was one of the major things, and he's, like I said, he couldn't miss, but one of the major things that I took away was how he was pretty much telling us to redefine how to be loved. And he was talking about, you know, because we love others and then expect them to love us back that same way.
To reciprocate, yeah.
And it's never going to be that way. You're never going to get loved the way that you kind of want to be loved. You need to be able to accept the way that somebody else delivers their love. Because, you know, one of the things he was talking about, you know, he grew up and he became very big on receiving gifts for like birthdays or, you know, holidays, something like that. He was big on gifts. And his wife's family was very big on time together, building memories and stuff like that. Like they weren't big on actual like materialistic type things. So when they first met, he was looking at them like, you know, what, no gifts on, you know, Christmas or whatever. Like, wait, you know, what's going on here? This is kind of weird. But cherishing that time that they had together, that was their gift, building those memories like we talk about. And that was something that he kind of had to, you know, unpack for himself to really, one, understand why he loved gifts so much, and two, to be able to receive the somebody else's love in the form that they're able to give it. You know, not everybody is able to give gifts. Not everybody is able to call or text or, you know, whatever it is, but to receive it as they give it. And that's huge for me, man, because that is, I almost got emotional a few times listening to that episode. That is something that I never realized that I was struggling with. And I for damn sure now looking back on it, you know what I mean, with that knowledge, I was struggling and probably am still in some way struggling with that. I just listened to that episode today, but it's something that I'm absolutely going to be more open-minded towards in the future. And I see those examples all around. You know, somebody will do something for somebody else and be like, you know, why didn't you do that for me? You know, I did this for you, you don't do this for me. And it's like, well, they're not capable of giving the same things that you give. You know, again, you have to receive love the way that somebody else gives it, not how you want it, because you're never going to get that love.
It's so crazy, and there's a couple of things I wanted to say about that. Hopefully, I don't lose my train of thought. While I'm saying don't lose my train of thought, I'm losing my train of thought. No, he was talking about being loved and that reciprocation of that love, right? And there's scripture. It's in the Bible. You know, give to give and not to receive. You know, and that's basically the same concept. It's the same principle. And me too, because I used to, I used to feel like birthdays were, I mean, and I still do to a certain degree, right? But I guess it just depends on who we're talking about, right? And you know, sending out birthday wishes to people and then getting upset, like thinking that we were supposed to be closer, and maybe we are as close as I think that we are. I'm just my perception was just a little bit jaded, you know, as far as, you know, not receiving that same birthday wish back, you know. And I feel like birthdays hold a certain importance in someone's life, but at the same time, depending on, you know, the strength of that relationship, you shouldn't expect expect some reciprocation of giving, because they're supposed to be giving love out of the kindness of your heart, not to receive it back. And I've caught myself more times than not to be like, man, I'm not about to reach out this time. I'm not about to, you know, send them this message, tell them I'm thinking about them, because they never do this to me. You know what I mean? So that's huge about what you said about that. And this podcast, bro, and I have to give a shout out to all of the other podcasts that I've watched in the past, because those were, you know, breadcrumbs leading up to what we experienced with this one, because I believe everything that comes together, it's not just one aha moment. You know, it's an accumulation of the experiences that we have that allow us to have a breakthrough at that moment in time, right? And this podcast was so powerful though, bro. Like it was on so many different levels. Like if you're trying to find your purpose out there, people, and this is what this podcast is for, is being able to release, find our way, and be happy. Then watch this Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins, and because the fact that Mel Robbins was just so blown away, yeah, and
chills,
that's,
bro. I got chills.
I've been chilling. As soon as we hit record, there's been waves of chills, which is just like God telling me like this is where you're supposed to be, at least one aspect
100%.
of it, right?
Or at least you're heading in the right direction. You're on the right path. You're facing the right way, if nothing else. Especially,
Yeah.
speaking for myself, man, I spent a long time looking in the wrong direction, looking backwards, getting upset, getting depressed about what like we've talked about before. I had this kind of a grand awakening type of thing, and then I spent a decent amount of time afterwards angry at myself, sad, depressed, feeling down because I was looking backwards like, man, should have had this mindset before. I'm so old now, I'm not able to pursue a lot of the things that I want to pursue. I had the time, I had the energy, I had the money, whatever it is, I had it back then and I don't have it now. I don't have I don't have this, I don't have that. And it's like, man, again, I probably wouldn't have been able to, even if I did have that mindset, I probably wouldn't have done it right back then. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have meant the same. I needed to go through a lot of the things that I went through. But again, it's one of those like take what you know now and apply that and adopt that going forward.
Yeah, that's what we talked about,
and that's
right?
how you can do something about that, right?
Back
But
to the
again,
future.
even yeah, right. Even just before we started recording, I was telling you how I was mad that I didn't come across that episode sooner. That was
Right.
that episode was 4 months ago, and Jay Shetty is literally in Boston today with Mel Robbins, getting ready to go on stage to talk about. I think he's on a book tour, but they're getting ready to talk about these type of things, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have known about it sooner. It may not have resonated with me back then. It may
Right.
not have hit the same frequency that it hit
Exactly.
today. And man, again, I got to say thank you again for sending that to me, because
But that's
man,
see,
it was
but
just
that's
so
it right
good.
there though. And this is something that I am coming into realization about, and it's completely bro. The shift has happened. It's completely changed, like everything, right? And really just diving into more of God's work and God's creation, of really believing, honestly, at this point, I'm not gonna say 100%, but it's close to understanding that everything is happening for my growth. Now you have to be, listen, you have to be on the path of healing in order
Right.
for, honestly believe that. And because God, he has his people, his children that he wants to thrive. But if we continue to ignore the signs, we'll never be on that path. And if we don't get on that path, it may not be as like this as it should. And so I'm really starting to understand that everything is literally happening for my growth, because I know what we're all capable of being on this journey of healing and growth mindset. I honestly believe that there is so much opportunity in every single day of our lives that we are leaving on the table. That this understanding has allowed me to go, in everywhere I go, and this is more recent, right? Everywhere I go, with the thought and the feeling and belief that I'm going to get something out of it. Whether I feel like I'm doing it, because normally in a situation, even like today, I'm like, man, like, is this even worth it? Like, is anything gonna come out of it? And I'm like, yeah. I told myself yes. I was like, some type of blessing is gonna come out of this. Like whether that's new experience, whether that's a no or a rejection or whatever it is, I'm still gonna get something out of it, and it's going to be that next brick to where I want to be as far as my goals and my dreams. So being in this mindset now has allowed me to be really being able to seek the blessings in everything that I'm doing, absorb all of the knowledge and everything that's around me, be more observant, utilize it to my ability, because I had to tap in with myself, a little solo casting, right? One that I kind of similar to the one that I sent you. And this was one of those things that Jay Shetty reaffirmed. And he talks about experiences and how you may think that experiences was for nothing. But all of your experiences are an accumulation to being able to connect the dots later on in life. And that was that moment. And that was that moment where I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is where I should be. And like, he said exactly the same thing that I said. You know?
Right.
And like, I'm at a loss of words because of how I feel about the direction that God has me going in, right? And when we get off of this call, I have to take immediate massive action and do whatever it is that we need to do to continue to build this for the people who have that aren't going to see this, to understand that the ability within us is so great, bro, that we have the opportunity to be anything that our heart desires. And it's so cliche. I almost want to find a different way to say it, because you don't understand it until you feel it. And
right, yeah. And that goes
ahead.
with a lot of things, man. You know, somebody is telling you about an experience that they went through, and you're just kind of sitting back, like listening to it, taking it in. But if you've experienced it, and then somebody's telling you about that same experience, you understand what they're talking about. You can feel it, and it reminds you of when you went through it too, right?
Right.
And again, you know, and that's why I love this path that we're on, because like you just said, man, there's everything. There's opportunity in everything and everywhere to learn something and grow. Even, you know, we talked about it before, you know, you either, like the saying goes, you either win or you learn. It's like, well, now you can learn from winning too. You know what I mean? Like, it's
absolutely.
not just this or that. Like, it's literally every single thing that goes on in our lives we can learn from and grow from. And listen again.
Yo,
listening to that
waves of it.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like you said, it keeps coming in and out, man. Just thinking about what was on that episode, and again, I got to go back and listen to it again, because they, like I said, man, they just they could not miss on that episode. And I'm sure it's everything, you know, it's a lot more than just that episode, but that's what I consumed today, and that's what I'm really taking away from, because I felt so much of what they were talking about. And one of the things that he was saying, to piggyback off of what you said, was, you know, being upset about like having to go to work if you don't like your job or whatever it is. You know, say you're there for, you know, 8 to 10, some people 12 hours or whatever. Plus, if you're spending that entire time thinking about how you hate this job and how you don't want to be doing it, it's almost like putting horse blinders on, and then you're missing all of the opportunities that are passing you by. Even if it's just conversations with other people, you know what I mean?
Because you don't know what those don't know what those conversations are going to lead to.
Exactly. You never know.
Each and every one of us, every single person. This is how I honestly felt, and there's another reason why we have this podcast, is because you can learn something from everyone. But now thinking about it in a different perspective, let's go a little bit deeper. Not everyone is an opportunity to learn from, but we're all connected. That's another pathway to something else that can lead to whatever it is in your life that you're trying to achieve. Man, so everyone could be an asset or some type of, man. It's just mind blowing, bro.
Yeah.
Because everyone.
Man, I gotta. Sorry, go ahead.
So we're leaving, like I say, what you said, to piggyback what you said, we're leaving so much information on the table that we could be, or you could be, as the audience, as we're coming into this idea right now, right? But obviously, if you're listening to this and it hits you in the way that it hits us, obviously, your path and all of the things that led up to you hearing this now was on purpose. But if people
100%.
if people could really work on shifting their mindset, we could learn so much more and get to where we're trying to get to so much quicker if we just paid attention. But that's what the enemy wants us to do. He wants to distract us from
Exactly.
scarcity, from lack, taking our focus off the thing that God truly has for us, and we're programmed to feel otherwise. And to feel this, to really be on a pursuit of happiness, right? And that means your dreams, your goals, you will never be happy. If you want happiness, my advice to you is chase your dreams as fast as possible, at full throttle.
Like your
Because it's a
life
wrap.
depends on it.
Like your life depends on it. As soon as we
I
got
mean,
it,
Because it does.
it does, bro.
Your
Like,
life depends on it, man. And again, part of that kind of depression that I was talking about earlier, and looking in the wrong direction. Sometimes you can look in the right direction in the wrong way. And I was even looking at certain things in my future and thinking like, man, if this continues, like I'm not a suicidal person, but I get it. I get it with a lot of people.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I understand. I understand how you can get there, like through your trials. I mean, the enemy is going to try his hardest to throw you off. Like when you're being tested of your faith, it can get really dark, and in those moments, and that's when it's like, wow, I can see people. I can see where people call it quits. And those of you
when it's
that are
that
having those
dark
feelings,
and you don't see the light,
right.
you don't see, there is no way out. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know if the way out is this way or if it's that way or if it's this way. Like, I don't know. And if I can't see my next step, like what am I doing? What is my purpose? I can't continue down this path. I can't go years in this darkness. So yeah, I get it, man. I absolutely get it. But again, that's why we're here. That's why we're having these conversations. And you and I are
Absolutely.
both here to let people like that know that there is a light.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need help to be able to see it.
And we're not alone.
Reach out. Yeah, you're not alone. And that's, again, talking about only speaking for myself. I've gone through those emotions. I've gone through those feelings. And I still have my moments of feeling alone or feeling like nobody else gets it type of thing. But every single time we get on here, every single time we tap in, every single time we have these type of conversations, it reminds me that one, I'm not alone. Two, there is something that I can do about it. And three, I'm going to get to that, being able to see that light with the help of other people, because it's not always easy by yourself. Sometimes you need somebody to kind of grab your hand, and even though you can't see, you gotta. And that was something that Mel talked about on that episode too, was trusting the people that you're letting in, trusting that that people that do have good intentions, and again, that comes back to what we've talked about before, who actually is in your circle, and being honest with what you're seeing when you look around that circle. You know what I mean? There's a quote from Nipsey Hussle that talked about, if you look at your I'm going to botch it, but it was something along the lines of, if you look at the people in your circle and you're not inspired, that's not a circle, it's a cage. And I was like, man, that's deep. That's deep. And that goes, I'm going on a tangent. And that also goes back to something that Jay Shetty was talking about, things that can hinder your growth and hinder you from going forward. And a lot of it is hanging on to that past, whether it's, yourself or, a relationship or whatever it is, hanging on to something that you kind of don't want to let go of. And he was saying that what's holding you back is what you're holding on to. Yeah. And that hit me deep.
Yeah. Martin Golden says something of the same too. What you resist persists. So you resist what you resist letting go, it's going to continue to be there until you've actually let it go. And it's so hard. It's so hard for us to do that, because we feel we don't know how. right? We don't know how to be
Right.
in that 1%. Well, I mean, didn't know how. I mean, I understand now what it takes to be on that path of your goals and your dreams, and but really be on it though. Like because that's the difference. We're chasing a lot of other things that don't light a fire in our soul, and that's where our happiness is at. Like, it's crazy now that I'm thinking about it, thought provoked. Our happiness lies in the passion that God has created in us, has put in us. Whatever it is that we're passionate about, whatever ability and skills that God put inside of us is directly connected to our happiness. Like, so what are we doing? What are we doing if we're not on this path of chasing the dreams and the thoughts and
Pursuing that passion.
what are we doing if we're not doing that? How do we actually feel? I mean, it's just so much we're leaving on the table. And there's this one podcast. I'm so on tangents. I'm rambling right now.
Same.
Man,
Me too,
but-
man. That's what it's all about. Again, talk about thought provoked, right?
My goodness. I lost my train of thought. But to think that our happiness is directly linked to our dreams just goes to show how much of a distraction the enemy has put on this world. Just how many people are chasing things that don't bring them happiness at all and trying to figure out how to be happy when the answer is actually right in front of us. It's easy to say now that I've had the breakthrough. But once, it's like Myron Golden said it too. He's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you understand it, you'll feel like, why didn't I understand this a long time ago? And so
Right.
what I want for whoever's listening to take out of today is go full force in what brings you passion. Oh, and that's the other thing. That's what Jay Shetty was talking about, and Mel Robbins, is that circle being that important, because sometimes people can see the ability in you that you can't see in yourself.
Right. Yeah,
Man,
that was a big one. And he was saying, ask three people that know you best something that you help them with. What is something that I'm good at? What is something that makes you think of me in a positive way? You know, what is something that I've been there for you for? And try to see how you can apply that into your life purposely, right? With intent. And he was talking about, his wife, how, she's always been a cook. She's a great cook. She loves cooking for people. That's like her love language, right? She loves cooking for people. And something that when they moved to LA, she was seeing a lot of, the homeless and stuff that was going on, and it was bothering her. So she looked into, how she can start being a part of like food pantries or, cooking for certain events or, this and that and the other thing. And somebody came at her and was like, would you ever do like catering? And then she was like, no, like, because then I'm not doing it because I love to do it. I'm doing it because I have to, type of thing. And I kind of botched that a little bit, but it's so true, man. If you are able to just, find out something that you're good at, because a lot of times, we try to think of ourselves in this, especially speaking for myself, it's not as easy for me to identify the things that I am good at. So don't, if you are kind of falling in that same category, don't put that much weight into your own hands. I'm not saying that you need to put it on anybody else, but, again, talk about reaching for help or asking for help. Yeah, talk to people about it. Ask somebody, again, people that know you best, people from your past or sometimes even in your present. Ask them, how have I ever been a service to you, type of thing. And see what they say, because a lot of times they're going to see the good in you when you don't see it in yourself. And that's heavy.
Absolutely. That's a great one. Ask somebody. Because as
The
we're
whole
trying
episode, the whole episode is
I'm
so
gonna have
good.
to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it as well. There were so many nuggets. So many nuggets.
So
in
many,
there.
too many. Like I said, they couldn't miss, man. They couldn't miss. That was one of the episodes that you talk about thought provoked or life changing or mental breakthroughs, emotional breakthroughs. There was so many things. Like, again, I got emotional almost, to the point of tearing up a couple times during that thing. It's like, man, my mindset is so wrong in certain categories. I feel
Yeah.
pretty good about where I'm at now in the direction that I'm heading, but it was still one of those things like, man, again, I still got some work to do. And shout out to KJ from our last episode. A message that he gave his son that really stuck out to me was, "You're far from a finished product." And that doesn't just go to the kids. That goes to us
Yeah.
as an adults. That goes to the people older than us. Like, that never stops. You're never a finished product. As long as we're here on this earth and we still have breath in our lungs, you are far from a finished product. And remember that. Don't be a stick in the mud. Don't be stagnant in life just because, this is who I am, this is how I go about it, and, I'll never change. Nah, you can always change. You can always learn. You can always grow. And you can always help, not just yourself, you can help other people too.
Whoa, bro, this is heavy. We say this all the time, and it's like we only got a couple of minutes left, but it's like we're not a finished product. And when you said that, the immediate thought was we're all still kids to someone, to God, to our parents. Right. God willing that we still that they're still here. But an adult, let's reframe that. An adult is a certain stage of being a kid. I mean, we're at our. I guess you can say an adult is just at the maturation of being a kid, but we never stop being a kid, and we lose that when we become adults. When we become adults, because right. we stop, and the school systems did it for us, right? We stop imagining.
I want a nation of workers, not
right.
thinkers.
Right. But when we're kids, we have the greatest imagination ever. And we make things come to life with the toys and the things that are around us. And that's essentially what our dream come true is, right? Mm-hmm. It's making our reality or in our imagination a reality. And so what if we went about this life in the same capacity? What if we go back to that childhood again and really dive into what made us happy, dive into the happiness of being a kid. And where I'm going with this is like doing this now at this point after watching that episode, I get like, it's like giddy. It's like I feel like a little kid, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right, for real.
Right, feeling like a little kid that's just got been to SeaWorld for the first time or whatever it is that just brings just so much joy to our hearts, and we need to become that kid again because we lose that as you said, we're not a finished product until we're a finished product. But what does that even look like? I mean, I guess until we've reached that level of success. Of whatever that looks like for everyone else in the world. I want to be a kid again. Like ultimately, tangent. Ultimately, I was thinking about this the other day. And as parents, if you're not a parent, you may not understand this to a degree. But what's most exciting as a parent to our children? And for me, it's reliving my childhood through my kids, watching Disney movies. Oh, this is the Disney movie that we used to watch. Oh, this is what I used to do as a kid. Like, this is what we did, and we share those experiences with our kids, right? And it gives us so much happiness. It gives us so much joy that we're reliving our childhood. It's because we stopped living it when we were X amount of years old, and that was the cycle that continued. So we have to break that cycle, become children, so our children can experience that children-like feeling when they get older, and that generation continues in that capacity.
Well, right, and again, to piggyback off of that, one of my greatest joys, and a lot of other parents' greatest joys, is watching their kids' dreams come true, right?
Yeah.
Let's flip that around. How do we think our kids would feel if they saw our dreams coming true? what kind of inspiration would that instill inside of them to be able to see us pursue what we want to pursue in life and not just be run down by this shit that we go through every single day and allowing that to happen?
Bro, say that again.
How would our kids feel knowing that we're pursuing our dreams and not just going through the mud every single day and sacrificing, our time, our energy, our effort, our dreams, sacrificing our dreams for the sake of them pursuing theirs? Again, as they say, do as I say, not as I do. Well, I want my kids to see me happy. I want them to see me go after something. I want them to see what it's like to pursue a passion in life. So, again, I can only imagine how much that's going to inspire them to do the same. Because how are they really going to be able to do that if they've never even seen it done before?
Bro, if
Let's get
that
after it,
wasn't,
Kyle.
if that wasn't, man, I don't know if whoever listens to this, I don't know if it hit you the way that it hit me, but that nugget right there, that was hardcore, bro. I don't even know, I can't even find a word to express how heavy that is. And it was just like, that was an atom bomb that blew up into just like all kinds of scrapples of reflection and memories. Like, how would our kids feel if they saw us? I already botched it. You're gonna have to cut that clip. That's the golden clip right there. I need that clip. Because how impactful is that? Our kids see what we see, and also our kids don't like it when we're not happy. Our kids don't like it when we're sad, rather.
100%.
Right?
Man.
Our kids receive our emotions and our feelings, and they want what's best for us as well. So,
right.
Like that right there. I wish that I can just like a Care Bear, like just shoot this laser out my heart.
I was picturing it as you said it, as Braveheart Bear or whatever it is.
So people can feel how I feel right now, especially after that comment, bro, because that is key. That's a key concept. Imagine how your kids would feel if you went out and chased your goals and accomplished them. How would your kids feel
see
about that?
In you? Because again,
Right?
I'm tired of
like,
coming home and my kids asking me how my day was. I'm like, it's okay. It was all right.
Right?
You know what I mean? How good would it feel to come back? How good would it feel for them to come home and they say, how was your day? And you say, man, this was one of the best days I've ever had. This was a great day. I got this done. I got that done. I feel so good and blessed to be able to do what I did today. That would blow their mind.
Right. That would be like,
that would inspire them to go after it, right?
I want that. They are gonna be like, that's what I want. Because happiness is contagious, right? Everyone wants it. That's what I want. Right? I want to do it like my daddy did, or I want to do it like my mommy did it. Yo, that was look, and this is what I was talking about as far as being, once it clicks, it clicks. When you're on that path of positivity, no more bad days, always seeking out the blessings and everything that you do, you get things like this. You get giddy. You get giddy like you get adult like
those
giddiness.
Horse blinders.
Yes, and that's what it is. It's really just horse blinders. It's just like we're an orange, and every experience and every moment is a peel, is one little peel off of that orange until, like you said, until we're completed, until the whole peel is off. We're locked up, man. Like the vision, our goggles are blurry, our goggles are muddy, man. Like we gotta clean it up.
Legit.
We gotta clean it up.
Remove them.
Man.
Remove the goggles.
Yeah, the whole all
Get
of it.
them out
Just
of there,
remove it
man.
as a whole, right?
Yeah.
But man, on the way. On the way.
I love it,
Sending love
man.
and blessings.
Again, we had to jump on here. We were so inspired from what we listened to, what we heard, that we had to continue on that message and kind of blow it up in a little bit in our own way, because again, man, look what just came from choosing to be intentional with our time, because we chose to be inspired. We opened ourselves up to receive those messages, and now we're able to spread that message even more and hopefully help some other people. This is
It's
what
a
it's
chain
all about,
reaction.
man.
It's a chain reaction because, and it's God's way. Because you hit me up a lot earlier than we were supposed to get on. I didn't even know,
Yeah,
like, you
right.
didn't even hit me back, so I wasn't even sure if we were going to get on. And I was actually going to go to the gym.
As soon as we started
Right?
talking about it, I was like, man, I got to get this day done. I got to get back
Yeah.
because I was too inspired. I couldn't wait. I couldn't
Yeah.
sit back with the feelings that I was having, the thoughts that I was having, because I know I would have forgotten half of it, right? And again, being intentional with our time, having these conversations, and look at the result, and it's only going to continue to grow. And I'm so excited
Wow.
to continue to grow, man. I feel so good.
Whoo, chase your dreams so your kid will chase theirs. My man, that's the best way. Man, let's go. Let's get it.
We got to get after it. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We more than appreciate it giving us this space and this platform to express ourselves in this way. It means the world to us, and it's life-changing for us, and we're hoping that it's doing the same for you. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.